Welcome back to Talk About It in English, where we solve real-life moments exactly like this one. You are walking down the office hallway, your boss rushes past, smiles, asks you a question, but they never stop walking. And today, we are going to build your automatic 3-second response to this hallway pass. Right now, standing in that hallway, you are feeling a massive wave of panic and confusion because you do not know if you should stop walking, shout your answer down the hall, or start complaining about the broken office printer. In my first office job, I actually chased my manager all the way to the elevator to complain about my slow laptop because I thought he was asking a literal question, and it was deeply embarrassing. By the end of this episode, you will have a 2-part speaking routine locked in your mouth so you can answer this passing question perfectly, sound highly competent, and never stop walking. That elevator moment still haunts me. I remember my manager was holding a coffee, looking at his phone, and he just smiled and said, "How are you settling in?" I completely froze. In my head, I translated the question and I thought, he is the manager. He is asking for a status report on my first week. So I stopped walking, I turned around, and I started listing all the things I had not finished yet. I told him I did not understand the software, my desk chair was broken, and I couldn't find the bathroom on the second floor. He just stared at me as the elevator doors closed. It was a complete disaster. That is such a common experience for English learners. When you study English in a classroom, your teacher asks you a question and you are supposed to stop, think, and give a full, detailed sentence. You are trained to give information. But in an English-speaking office, a hallway conversation is not a classroom exercise. It's a completely different cultural event. We call this the hallway pass. The hallway pass is a beautiful but confusing part of English workplace culture. You have to understand the psychology of the person walking past you. When your boss or your coworker is walking quickly down the hallway, they are usually going somewhere specific. They are going to the bathroom, they're going to a meeting, or they're going to get coffee. They do not want to stop. They just want to acknowledge your existence. They want to show you that they see you and that they are friendly. We call this a vibe check. A vibe check means they are just checking your general energy and mood. They are not asking for a detailed report. They just want to hear a happy tone of voice and see a smile. So the absolute golden rule of the hallway pass is this: if their feet do not stop moving, your feet do not stop moving. You must maintain your walking momentum. Let me say that again because it is the most important cultural rule you will learn today. If their feet do not stop moving, your feet do not stop moving. You must maintain your walking momentum. If you stop walking, you force them to stop walking, and suddenly you have trapped them in a conversation they did not plan to have. Exactly. You disrupt the physical flow of the office. So how do you answer a question while you're walking away from someone? You can't give a long answer because you'll run out of time. You only have about 2 or 3 seconds before you're too far away to hear each other. You need a formula. We are going to teach you the positive +1 detail formula. This is the ultimate tool for passing small talk. It's fast, it's polite, and it makes you sound incredibly fluent. The formula has 2 parts. First, you give one positive anchor word. Second, you give one tiny, vague detail. That's it. Let's look at the first option you can use. Imagine the boss walks past and says, "How are you settling in?" Your positive +1 detail response will be this: "Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything." Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything. Let's break that down. The positive anchor is "Great, thanks." Notice how high the energy is. You're not just saying, "I'm fine," you're saying, "Great, thanks." This immediately passes the vibe check. It tells the boss that you are happy and not a problem they need to solve today. Then comes the brilliant part, the one detail, just getting the hang of everything. This phrase, getting the hang of something, is an incredible idiom. It's the ultimate intermediate and advanced cheat code for the workplace. Getting the hang of something means that you are learning how to do it, and you are slowly becoming comfortable with it, but you are not perfect yet. It's such a natural phrase. Native speakers use it constantly. When you learn to drive a new car, you get the hang of it. When you buy a new coffee machine, you get the hang of it. And when you start a new job, you get the hang of everything. By saying this, you're telling your boss that you are actively learning, you have a good attitude, and you don't need them to stop and help you. It is so much better than saying, I am still learning, or I do not know everything yet. Those phrases focus on your lack of knowledge. Getting the hang of everything focuses on your progress. It makes you sound confident and capable. Now, let us practice this, because knowing the phrase in your head is not enough. You have to be able to say it in 2 seconds while walking. We're going to do some shadowing. I want you to speak out loud wherever you are listening to this.
We'll start with just the first part. Focus on the upbeat energy. Listen and repeat after Lily.
Great, thanks. Great, thanks.
Notice how Lily's voice goes up a little bit at the end of thanks. It sounds light and friendly. Now let us practice the idiom, getting the hang of. Listen to how those words connect, getting the hang of. The letter G at the end of hang connects directly to the letter O in of. Hang of, hang of. Try that.
Getting the hang of. Getting the hang of.
Now let us add the last word, getting the hang of everything. Listen and repeat.
Getting the hang of everything. Getting the hang of everything.
Perfect. Now we're going to put the whole sentence together. I want you to imagine you are walking. If you're standing up right now, actually take a few steps in place. Physical movement helps lock the English into your muscle memory. I'm going to be the boss. I will say the greeting, and I want you to immediately reply out loud. Ready? Hey, how are you settling in?
Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything.
Let's do that one more time. Keep your feet moving. Hey, how are you settling in?
Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything.
That was excellent. If you use that phrase during your first month at a new job, people will instantly view you as a positive, adaptable team member. But what happens if you've been at the job for a few months and you're already settled in? You can't say you're getting the hang of it forever.
That is why we have a second variation of the formula for you. This is the team praise variation. Imagine your manager walks past on a Wednesday afternoon. You're carrying some papers to the printer. The manager smiles and says, "Hey, how are things going?" Your response is going to be, "Really well. Everyone has been super helpful."
Really well. Everyone has been super helpful. This is my absolute favorite response for passing hallway conversations. It uses the exact same formula. The positive anchor is really well. The one detail is everyone has been super helpful.
Why is this such a powerful phrase? Because bosses and managers love hearing that their team is functioning properly. When you say that everyone has been helpful, you're giving a compliment to the entire department. You're making the boss feel good about the environment they manage, and you're showing that you are a collaborative team player. And best of all, you take the attention off yourself.
That is a brilliant point. When you're nervous about your English, the spotlight feels very hot. You feel like everyone is judging your grammar. By saying everyone has been super helpful, you instantly shine the spotlight back on the team. You give a generous compliment, which makes the manager smile, and by the time they process the compliment, you've already walked past them. The interaction is over and it was a complete success.
Let us look closely at the grammar and pronunciation of this phrase. We say, everyone has been super helpful. In spoken English, we almost always contract everyone and has into everyone's. Everyone's been. It sounds exactly like everyone is, but in this case it means everyone has. Everyone's been.
When you use the present perfect tense here, it shows a continuous state of good things happening from the past right up until this moment in the hallway. It's much more natural than saying everyone is helpful. Everyone's been helpful sounds incredibly fluent.
Let us practice the connected speech. Listen to how smoothly the sounds link together. Everyone's been. Repeat that out loud.
Everyone's been. Everyone's been.
Now let us add the end of the phrase, super helpful. We use the word super here instead of very. Very helpful is perfectly fine, but super helpful is much more conversational and modern for office environments. Repeat after James.
Super helpful. Super helpful.
Now the whole details section. Listen and repeat.
Everyone's been super helpful. Everyone's been super helpful.
Good. Now let us put the entire two-part formula together. Remember, the positive anchor first, then the detail. Really well. Everyone's been super helpful. Before we practice, if you're finding this formula useful and you want to master more real-life office scenarios, take a second to subscribe to the channel right now. We build new speaking routines every week to help you survive these exact moments. Now let us do a speed drill. James will be the manager walking past. You have exactly 2 seconds to reply out loud. Ready?
Hey, how are you settling in?
Really well. Everyone's been super helpful.
Keep walking. Let's do it again. Look up, make eye contact, and speak clearly. Hey, how are you settling in?
Really well. Everyone's been super helpful.
That was excellent. If you use that phrase during your first month at a new job, people will instantly view you as a positive, adaptable team member.
Beautiful. You now have 2 bulletproof phrases that will protect you in 90% of hallway interactions. You can use them while walking to the kitchen, walking to the elevator, or walking out the door at the end of the day. But we need to prepare you for the 10% exception.
Yes, the exception. We established the golden rule: if their feet do not stop, your feet do not stop. But what happens if their feet actually stop? What if the manager is walking towards you, asks how you are, and then physically stops walking and stands in front of you?
This changes the entire dynamic. If their feet stop, your feet must stop. You cannot just keep walking and shout your answer over your shoulder. That would be rude. When they stop, it means they have a few minutes and they actually want to engage in a slightly longer piece of small talk.
Do not panic when this happens. You are still going to use the exact same positive +1 detail formula we just practiced. You will still say, "Great, thanks, just getting the hang of everything." But because they have stopped walking, you cannot just stand there in silence after you finish your sentence. You have to bounce the conversation back to them. You need to return the serve.
We call this the bounce back exception. To handle this gracefully, you need a quick, polite question to ask them immediately after your formula. Our target phrase for this is, "How is your morning going?"
How is your morning going? It is simple, it is safe, and it perfectly mirrors their question. But the secret to making this work is not the grammar, it is the intonation. How you say this question is far more important than the words themselves.
That is absolutely true. When English learners ask questions, they often raise their pitch at the very end of the sentence because that is what they were taught to do with yes or no questions. But this is an open question, a WH question. If you raise your pitch at the end of "How is your morning going?" it sounds intense. It sounds like an interrogation. It sounds like you are demanding an answer.
Imagine if I walked up to you and said, "How is your morning going?" with my voice going very high at the end. It feels aggressive, almost like I suspect you are having a bad morning. In casual office small talk, your pitch needs to gently drop at the end of the sentence. It should sound relaxed, like a soft sigh. How is your morning going? The word going actually steps down in pitch.
Let us practice that falling intonation. It is crucial for sounding friendly rather than intense. Listen to James and try to copy the exact melody of his voice. Notice how he relaxes his throat on the final word.
How is your morning going? How is your morning going?
Do you hear that drop? Let us try the afternoon version. Listen and repeat.
How is your afternoon going? How is your afternoon going?
Excellent. Now let's build the entire sequence for the exception. Your boss stops walking, you stop walking, you give your formula, and then you immediately use the bounce back question to give them a turn to speak. Listen to how this sounds in a complete flow. Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything. How is your morning going?
Notice that Lily did not leave a long, awkward pause between her answer and her question. She linked them together smoothly. This shows that you are in control of the conversation. You are not just reacting, you are participating. Let us shadow this entire block. It's a longer piece of English, so take a deep breath. I'll say it, and then I want you to repeat the whole thing out loud.
Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything. How is your morning going? Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything. How is your morning going?
Now let's try it with the team praise formula.
Really well. Everyone's been super helpful. How is your morning going? Really well. Everyone's been super helpful. How is your morning going?
Very well done. You now have the complete toolkit for the hallway pass. You know what to do if they keep walking, and you know what to do if they stop. But knowing the rules and performing them in real time are two different things.
In the real world, you don't get a warning. A coworker suddenly appears from around a corner and you have to read their body language instantly. So we're going to finish today's session with the hallway simulator. This is a mental and verbal quiz. We're going to describe 3 different physical scenarios. You have to imagine the scene, read the invisible body language, decide if you should stop or keep walking, and then speak the correct phrase out loud before the time runs out.
You have to act fast. You only have a few seconds for each scenario. Stand up if you can, or at least sit up straight and get ready to speak. We'll debrief after each one to see how you did.
Scenario number 1. You are walking to the kitchen to get a glass of water. It is your second week on the job. A senior manager from a different team is walking toward you. They are walking fast. They have a laptop tucked under their arm, and they are looking slightly stressed. As they pass you, they quickly look up, give a tight smile, and say, "Morning, how are you settling in? What do you do and what do you say? Speak now."
Stop right there. Did you stop walking? I hope not. The manager was walking fast, carrying a laptop, and looked stressed. That was a pure vibe check. They did not want to stop. If you kept your feet moving and used the first formula, you nailed it. You should have walked right past them while saying, "Great, thanks, just getting the hang of everything." If you did that, you respected their time and passed the social test flawlessly.
Scenario number 2. It is a Friday afternoon. You have been at the company for 2 months now. You are walking back to your desk from a meeting. Your team leader is walking the other way. They are empty-handed, walking at a relaxed, slow pace. As they get close to you, they slow down even more, stop completely, put their hands in their pockets, and say, "Hey, how are things going? What do you do and what do you say? Speak now."
Okay, let us review. Their feet stopped moving. They put their hands in their pockets, which is a relaxed posture, indicating they have time to chat. Therefore, your feet must stop moving. You should have stopped in front of them, delivered your formula, and added the bounce back. A perfect response would be, "Really well. Everyone's been super helpful. How is your afternoon going?" By adding the bounce back, you invited them to complain about their day or share some good news, creating a genuine moment of connection.
Scenario number 3. This is the hardest one. You are walking into the building first thing in the morning. You are carrying your heavy winter coat and your bag. The CEO of the company, who you have only met once, is walking out of the building to get a coffee. They are holding the glass door open for you. As you walk through the door, they smile broadly and say, "Good morning, how are you settling in? What do you do and what do you say? Speak now."
That was a trick scenario. The CEO is holding the door for you. They are physically stopped, but they are only stopped because they are holding the door. They are clearly on their way out to get coffee. They're doing you a physical favor, but they do not want to stand in the doorway blocking traffic to have a conversation. You must keep moving through the door. You should have given a big smile, walked continuously through the doorway, and used a short formula. "Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything. Have a good coffee." That shows immense social intelligence.
If you can master these subtle physical cues, your English will suddenly feel much more advanced than your actual vocabulary level. Fluency in the workplace is not just about knowing big words, it's about matching the rhythm of the environment. When you match the walking speed, the tone of voice, and the brevity of a hallway pass, native speakers subconsciously register you as highly competent.
They really do. They walk away thinking, that new person is doing a great job. Even if all you said was a 3-second memorized formula, you have survived the danger zone. You did not complain, you did not overshare, and you did not trap anyone in an awkward silence.
We covered a lot of psychological and cultural ground today, so let's do a quick summary of your new routines. Rule number 1, read the feet. If their feet don't stop, your feet don't stop.
Rule number 2, always use a positive anchor followed by one vague detail. Do not give a literal status report on your tasks.
Rule number 3, use getting the hang of everything for your first month and switch to everyone's been super helpful once you're established. And rule number 4, if they do stop, use the bounce back question with a falling intonation. How is your morning going?
The key to making this work tomorrow is muscle memory. You cannot try to remember these rules while you're walking. The words need to be completely automatic. So here's your content challenge for today. Tomorrow morning, before you leave for work, stand in front of your bathroom mirror, walk in place, look yourself in the eye, and say, "Great, thanks. Just getting the hang of everything." Do it 5 times until you don't have to think about the words.
I promise you, the first time you use this in the real world and you smoothly walk past a manager without a single drop of panic, you are going to feel like an absolute English superhero.
Once you have mastered the hallway walk, your next challenge is mastering the moments where you're trapped standing still. Click the video on your screen right now to learn how to make exactly 30 seconds of small talk while waiting for the elevator so you never have to stare at your phone in awkward silence again.
Keep practicing, keep walking, and we'll see you in the next scenario.